what's going on, guys? It's Jay Mass, and I'm back again with another dope New England adventure. And I'm going to try to keep this introduction as brief as humanly possible. Long story short, we're going to be exploring an abandoned house here in Massachusetts. That's all I'm going to tell you guys. I'm not going to say the town or city it's in, just that we are going to be exploring an abandoned house here in Massachusetts, and there's a decent amount of interesting things left behind. It's not a massive house or anything, far from a mansion. It seems like a pretty small or medium-sized middle-class household, but I'm interested to see what it's got going on. This is actually an abandoned house I found on my own. I've actually been driving along the road that this house sits beside many times in the past, and only a few months ago I actually found this house. It was sitting secluded in the middle of the woods. You can actually kind of see the backyard right there. It is very wooded. It's in a very wooded area, although we are in a suburban town. But this house caught my eye in the middle of the woods as I was driving, and it was clearly abandoned. I looked into it a little bit more, and if you want further proof that's abandoned, there are literally pieces of graffiti on the walls. So yes, this house is abandoned, and I'm excited to check it out with you guys. And that's really all I know. I don't know any information about this house. I don't know when it was built. I don't know when it was abandoned. I don't know anything like that. I don't know what it costs. This house is like, there's nothing about it online. You know, a lot of the abandoned houses I've explored in this channel, I can find bits and pieces here and there, but this house, nothing. I don't know anything about it, so your guess is as good as mine. And maybe we'll do some guessing while we walk around and explore. So without further ado, let's get right into it. We're gonna explore this abandoned house here in Massachusetts, one that I found on my own. As always, guys, my name is Jay Mass. If you love urban exploration, checking out abandoned sites, traveling New England and beyond, I'm always doing that on the channel, so feel free to subscribe to the channel. I want to give a major shout out to all my channel members right here. You guys are awesome, and I'd love it if you too, viewer, became a member of the channel. You'd be supporting me and the channel directly, and you'd get your name in every video. Or you can follow me on Instagram at JMassOfficial. That's at JMassOfficial. But let's just get right into it and explore this abandoned house. It's nothing major, as I said, but there are some cool things left behind, and it's been a while since I've explored an abandoned house. All right, guys, so we're going to get started and explore this abandoned house here in Massachusetts. We're going to be starting at the very front of the house. This right here is the front entrance to get in. You can see, again, it's in a pretty wooded area, although we are in a suburban town right now, so there's other houses around us. We're not super secluded, but most of this house is very heavily wooded. It's almost like we're in a large unused lot of land. But you turn around here, and this, I believe, is the kitchen, or at least the dining room. So let's take a peek, see what we got going on in this house. This right here, of course, is the sink. I believe this was the kitchen at some point, or a dining room. You can see they got a lot of drawers and cupboards left behind. Not really much inside them, though. They're, for the most part, empty. But it's made out of wood, and, you know, I just gotta say, based on everything I'm looking at this house, it does seem like a pretty old house. Definitely from the 20th century. I'm just not sure when it was built, and I'm not sure when it was abandoned. But everything here seems pretty old. I have not seen anything, you know, super new here. But yeah, this is the kitchen sink, the kitchen counter, I believe. They also have an oven sitting right here. Look at this. An oven, a stovetop. Actually, I wonder if we can find any information about this. Is there maybe a brand name? I will say I know a lot of my viewers know more than I do, especially those who are on the older side. You guys might know what some of this stuff is, so please, while you're watching this video, if you see anything you recognize that might date this house, please let me know. I'm very interested to get a time period going for when this house was, you know, at the very least abandoned. Okay, this right here is the bathroom. So you got a toilet right here, bathtub, full of, looks like plaster and drywall. That's one thing we got to be careful of. I'm sure this house probably has a lot of asbestos and stuff. But yeah, bathtub, toilet, got the mirror, and of course me. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's JMS. Tons of like what looks like insulation on this bathroom sink. And that might even be some sort of dryer or washing machine. Well built. A well built, what I believe is maybe a dryer or washing machine. I can't really tell. Looks like it from the backside. But yeah, this is the bathroom, pretty small. And again, I do want to take your attention to this. There is graffiti everywhere in this house. This is by no means a house that I'm just breaking into. It's an abandoned house. No one owns it. I looked online, and while I couldn't find any information about when it was constructed or abandoned, I do know no one lives here. It is not currently owned. So it's a truly abandoned house, completely covered in graffiti. Okay, this was really cool. I want to point this out. There were some skis left behind. Check this out. Some Rossignol skis. That's kind of cool. T3000. I'm not really a skier myself, which I know is ironic coming from a New Englander, but I don't really go skiing, so I don't know if this is a good brand, but pretty cool nonetheless to see two skis just sitting here, laying against the wall. Speaking of the wall, you can check out the wallpaper. Look at that. I always love seeing wallpaper in abandoned houses. I know it's common, but I especially love seeing it in old houses. Just gives sort of that old, antiquated feel, you know? And then this is the room right here, just littered with random stuff. I won't go too into detail, but you can see you got, you know, a rake right there, random blanket, or actually not a blanket, it looks like some sort of clothing article. I did see a couple Halloween things left behind. There's a ghost right there. There's a pumpkin, a jack-o'-lantern, then a bunch of other little jack-o'-lanterns here. So that leads me to believe that this house was abandoned sometime in October, you know, around Halloween season, considering how many Halloween items are left behind. That's really about it. Actually, what is this? The Three Stooges. Oh, this is a Three Stooges, maybe a toy. This looks pretty old. Let me see if I can maybe find a date. Oh yeah, Three Stooges, wow. That has to be a toy. Oh, 1996. This is from 1996. Wow. Okay, so this is definitely an old house. That's what I figured. So if that's from 1996, I would not be shocked if this house was abandoned in the late 90s or early 2000s. Very interesting. All right, let's take a peek behind this closed door, see what we got going in here. Oh, geez. Oh, that's the ladder up into the attic right there. Not really much in this room. It's pretty empty, just an empty pink room. There's a very creepy mutilated teddy bear, and then a unmutilated teddy bear. It's kind of creepy. But yeah, it looks like this goes up into the attic, so maybe we can check that out later, although it doesn't look like it's in great condition. But anyways, little empty room right there. And now let's peek in here. This is where I filmed the introduction. There's really not much going on in here. It's a completely empty room. The rug is sort of pulled back here. I will give you a brief view outside. Again, you can see the backyard is completely wooded. We're in a very heavily forested area. There are some things out back there, and there's a basement we'll get to at the end. But that's really about it for the backyard. And again, some more graffiti, just harping on the point that this is truly an abandoned house. There's graffiti everywhere. I'm definitely not the first person to get here. Oh, and an old thermostat. All right, let's peek in here. This is definitely the worst looking room in the house in terms of, you know, the disrepair and decay and deterioration. Look at this floor. Completely moldy, covered in moss and plaster and drywall. This thing just collapsed. Looks like maybe a door or a piece of the wall. And then there's another entrance out there, although that one's pretty much blocked. I can even see a leak coming from the roof. I will say it is a pretty rainy day today. Yeah, another leak right there. Look at that. Yeah, this room's in rough shape. I'm not going to spend too much time in here. I do want to take a peek in this room, though. I don't know what this was. Oh, just a closet, not a room. Yeah, just a closet. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, that's mostly about it for this house. There's really not much going on here. It's a pretty small house. But as I said, I discovered it months ago while driving on the road that this house is sitting beside. Piqued my interest, and I added it to my ever-growing list of abandoned houses. Fun fact, I have a long-ass list of abandoned houses I got to get to. This was one of many, and I finally got over here. So I just wanted to check it out with you guys. I just want to see what this stuff is. Looks like a battery, all-purpose. No, wait, what does that say? General purpose battery. Yeah, just random stuff. All right, I'm gonna try to get up into that attic. I'm a little nervous about it though. It does not look like it's in great condition. So let's see if we can get up there without breaking this thing. All right, guys, so I'm on the attic ladder right now, and look at this. This thing is creaking and shaking. Ah, geez, not in the best condition. It's kind of freaking me out. So I'm not gonna go all the way up here. Let's just take a look. This is the attic right here. Not much up here except for that old TV. That thing is piquing my interest. Look at that TV. Wow. Old TV right over there. That's super dope. I want to go up there, but I'm really freaked out about climbing up on here. I also don't know how in poor condition this flooring is, you know, the flooring of this attic, so I don't think it's worth the risk. But yeah, really interesting. This is the attic right here. All right, guys, so right now we're in the backyard of this house. As you can see, this is the back exterior wall of the house. Looks like almost a rusty reddish hue for the paint. But last but not least, we're gonna be checking out this basement right here. It's pretty small, not too much in here, but I did just want to take a peek with you guys. It's pretty creepy though, I will admit. Look at this. This right here is the basement. It's definitely a little unsettling. So let's see what we got going on down here. This looks like the water heater or water boiler right over here. Got a lot of piping, of course. We are in the basement, so there's gonna be a lot of utility parts. Oh, this right here actually might be the water heater. Look at that. We head back here, and then there's a lot of furniture. Looks like drawers and cupboards, some sort of, you know, some sort of bureau here. A lot of furniture just sitting here, some chairs and tables. So it looks like this basement was also being used for storage by the previous owner, you know, whoever lived here originally. But a lot of wooden furniture just sitting here. And a random crystal ball. And a pool noodle, that's interesting. Yeah, a lot of weird stuff. They also have a lot of these little torch lights or tiki torches sitting here, which is kind of interesting. Some car oil. Oh, what is this? I didn't even notice this before. The American Spectrum Encyclopedia, the new illustrated home reference guide. That's pretty sick. I did not notice that before. I actually walked by here earlier. Is there a year on this? You guys know I love looking for the year, which I'm actually going to do right now. Let's see if we can find the year. Oh, God. There's pill bugs in this book. This is very gross, and I probably shouldn't be touching this, especially as a germaphobe myself, but I'll have to look this up later. I'm very curious what year this is from. But that's fascinating. But that's really about it for this section of the basement right here. Again, it's definitely a little creepy. I mean, you can see the bare walls right there. And there is one other tiny little room we'll take a peek at. Just head right back into the backyard, I mean. Head right over here, and let's take a really quick peek into this room. This is part of the basement, although this is very small. There's not much going on in here. You can just see there's a lot of random pieces of wood. I see some more chairs back there, but there's not really much room in here. I'm basically ducking to film in here. That's really about it. This is the last room in the house. So as I said, it's a pretty small house. Nothing too crazy going on here, but I did just want to show you guys. I'll also really quickly give you guys a shot of the abandoned house itself. This is what it looks like, only showing because it's pretty interesting to look at. You can see this thing is completely decayed, pretty old, just sitting here in the middle of the woods. In fact, this is what the backyard looks like. Huge, massive wooded backyard. But yeah, it's a really interesting old abandoned house. It really sticks out when you're driving along the road, and I'm glad I finally got to check it out. Hey, thank you guys for joining me. I've been J-Mass as always, and this has been another dope New England adventure. And today we explored this small, albeit really interesting, abandoned home here in Massachusetts. This place was cool. You can see I'm standing in the backyard right now. That's the basement we just went inside. There was some cool stuff going on in here, some interesting things left behind. But at the end of the day, it was an abandoned small home, nothing too crazy, and there's many of these throughout New England. I drive by them constantly. I always get people asking me, how do you find abandoned spots? And other than the obvious, you know, looking online, finding places online, I constantly drive by them. This abandoned house we just explored is one of many abandoned locations I've personally found by myself just driving in New England. This one I found here in Massachusetts in a pretty decent sized suburban town, and it's clearly abandoned, as you guys saw. So it's really interesting, although of course exercise caution when you do that. Not every house that looks abandoned is abandoned. You got to do research. But nonetheless, it was a really interesting place to check out, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, my name is J-Mass. If you love urban exploration, checking out abandoned sites, traveling New England and beyond, I'm always doing that on the channel, so feel free to subscribe to the channel. Want to give a major shout out to all my channel members. You can see them all right here. You guys are awesome, and I'd love it if you too, viewer, became a member of the channel. You'd be supporting me and the channel directly. Or you can follow me on Instagram at jmassofficial. That's at jmassofficial. Yeah, I've been JMass as always. This was the small abandoned house here in Massachusetts. Really interesting to check out. And on to the next one.